Well, it's all respect. Like I told everybody for a long time. I'm like, man, me and Canelo. I got a ton of respect for Canelo. I'm a fan of Canelo. I've always been a fan of Canelo, and I wanted to be the one to give him back his belts. I didn't want my team to hand him back his belts. I wanted to be the one that give him back his belts.
The arena just became a place of legend. Terence Crawford has rewritten history, stunning the entire boxing world by dethroning Canelo Alvarez in a way no one could have predicted. The atmosphere is pure electricity. Fans are in disbelief and analysts can't stop reacting as a brand new chapter begins in boxing's legacy. And right at the heart of this chaos, Crawford's father stepped forward with pride in his eyes. He quietly said, "I always believed in my son's power." It wasn't excitement, it was conviction. Every word carried years of sacrifice, countless hours in dimly lit gyms, and a father's unshakable faith. It reminded everyone that greatness isn't born, it's earned through blood, grind, and resilience. In that one statement, he captured a lifetime of struggle and a moment that will echo in boxing forever. And just as emotions filled the air, Roy Jones Jr. stepped in with his reaction. His tone had the weight of a legend, Simeone, who has felt every punch, every roar, and knows when true greatness stands before him. Roy Jones Jr.'s words weren't just a casual remark, they were a seal of approval from one of the sharpest boxing minds alive. When someone like Roy speaks, it carries weight. His statement didn't spark hype, it added legacy. It transformed Crawford's win from a surprise into a moment of historical validation. This wasn't just about victory anymore, it was about entering the realm of the greats. Every syllable from Jones echoed through boxing's timeline, measuring Crawford against the best to ever do it. And just as the buzz began to settle, another respected voice entered. The scene, veteran analyst Gareth Davies, known for dissecting the sport with precision and passion. His reaction brought both admiration and authority, perfectly framing the magnitude of what the world had just witnessed. That wasn't empty praise. It was a technical verdict delivered with surgical precision. Each note exposed Crawford's dominance, his brilliance across every stage of the fight. Coming from a veteran eye, it wasn't hype but hard facts shaped by ringside evidence. It framed Crawford's display not as a shock, but as a true masterpiece. In that moment, his position atop boxing's peak felt indisputable. Then Adam Katater all stepped in to dissect it with cold accuracy. His breakdown left emotion aside and focused on mechanics, mapping exactly how Crawford dismantled a champion step by step. Every detail emphasized the absolute command Crawford held from the opening bell to the final second. He wasn't just winning rounds, he was scripting the entire narrative of the fight. Adam's analysis revealed how flawlessly complete the performance truly was. No moment unanswered, no weakness exposed. It was pure boxing education, a masterclass that lifted Crawford's legacy to new heights. But Adam didn't stop there. He went even deeper, uncovering what made this night feel almost mythical. His words carried the breathless energy of a man still shaken by witnessing a once-in-a-generation performance. This wasn't commentary for the cameras, it was genuine awe for a performance that redefined what elite boxing can look like. The way Crawford adjusted, countered, and controlled every exchange was described as art in motion. Adam's reflection carried the feeling that fans had just witnessed something rare, something destined to live forever in highlight reels and history books. It wasn't just a fight, it was a showcase of mastery few could replicate. Then Adam zoomed out, framing the win within the grand arc of Crawford's journey. His broader perspective made the triumph feel even larger, the kind that cements legends, not just champions. He reminded everyone of the uphill climb, the jump in weight, the towering odds, and the pressure of performing under boxing's brightest lights. This wasn't just about defeating Canelo. It was about breaking through barriers that should have made victory impossible. Adam's words painted Crawford as something beyond a champion, a man rewriting history in real time. With that, his triumph was stamped as one of the sport's defining moments, worthy of every ounce of praise. And then came Paulie Malignaggi, stepping up with his signature sharp insight. He opened his breakdown with a statement that instantly set the tone, not describing a fight, but defining a historic night that would echo across generations. He focused on what truly counted: Crawford's achievement and the calm authority with which he carried himself. It wasn't about flash or theatrics, but about pure control and discipline. Paulie painted the portrait of a fighter who has quietly assembled one of the most complete legacies in modern boxing, a career defined not just by victories but by leaving opponents with little more than moments, not rounds. Then Paulie took it a step further, diving deep into the strategy behind the brilliance. His breakdown wasn't just about what Crawford executed, it was about how intelligently, efficiently, and flawlessly he made it all happen. Every adjustment, every counter revealed the story of a man completely in command. Paulie emphasized how even when Canelo searched for an opening, Crawford neutralized him with surgical timing and perfect precision. It was the purest display of boxing intelligence, IQ operating at its absolute peak. Paulie's breakdown made one thing clear: Crawford didn't just endure the challenge. He deconstructed it piece by piece from the opening bell. Then he shifted his focus to Crawford's razor-sharp reactions, explaining how frustration began to seep into Canelo's rhythm, turning confidence into confusion. The picture couldn't be clearer. Crawford was catching, countering, and landing with surgical precision. This wasn't about raw power. It was pure discipline, timing, and control. Paulie's words painted the moment when Canelo, running out of answers, turned to rough tactics, a sign of frustration more than strategy. Meanwhile, Crawford stayed ice-cold, turning every exchange into a statement of dominance. Each move reminded the world exactly who dictated the fight. And Paulie didn't sugarcoat his take. His breakdown hit hard, calling out how pressure exposes true character. It was raw, honest, and carried the authority of someone who knows the fight game inside out. The contrast couldn't have been sharper. Crawford rose to the occasion when everything was on the line, while Canelo seemed to fade under the spotlight. Paulie's words cut right to the core of why some Mexican legends have voiced their criticism. Not to diminish Canelo's legacy, but to highlight the difference between greatness and comfort. In that closing reflection, Crawford's grit and hunger shined brighter than ever, while Canelo's limits were quietly exposed. Then came Big John Fisher, stepping in with the kind of no-nonsense honesty fans love. His reaction was brief, but it landed heavy, the kind of verdict that makes the boxing world stop and listen. He made it crystal clear how completely one-sided the night had been. Crawford didn't just win, he dictated every second with composure and class. Big John's words perfectly captured the gulf in skill between the two fighters sharing that ring. This wasn't about luck or fortune. It was about mastery at its purest form, something almost hard to believe. Then Big John Fisher added another layer to his thoughts, this time speaking with a sense of balance and respect for both warriors. His tone carried that rare mix of admiration and truth, the kind that only real fight fans understand. He highlighted a hard truth: sometimes the skill gap is simply too wide to close. For Canelo, age and timing may have built a mountain that was no longer climbable. But Big John didn't dismiss the effort. He called it exactly what it was: to champions laying it all on the line. His reflection balanced the thrill of Crawford's genius with the respect owed to a warrior who fought bravely but fell short. Then Johnny Fisher stepped up with his own perspective, breaking down the subtle details that shaped everything. His insight revealed that Crawford's dominance wasn't just physical. It was mental warfare executed with icy precision. He broke down how Crawford dictated the pace right from the opening seconds of every round. That early show of authority forced Canelo to chase a fight that was never within reach. Johnny pointed out that the usual turning point, the moment Canelo once thrived on, never arrived this time. Instead, Crawford stayed 2 moves ahead, calm, calculated, and completely unbothered by the size difference. It was dominance disguised as rhythm, control hidden behind effortless simplicity. Then Johnny Fisher delivered an even bolder statement, officially placing Crawford's victory among the great moments in boxing history. His tone carried the weight of true recognition, the sound of a legend being crowned. He pointed out something rarely witnessed: Canelo looked defeated not just on the scorecards, but in his very body language. That kind of breakdown had never been seen before, and it was Crawford who triggered it. Johnny's words elevated him into the realm of the all-time greats, a generational talent now carved into boxing's own Mount Rushmore. From the opening roar of Canelo's name to the final echoes of Crawford's triumph, the entire arena felt the energy shift, the coronation of a new king. Then Bill Haney stepped forward, never one to sugarcoat his thoughts, delivering a raw and honest take on what had just happened. His tone carried the conviction of someone who saw Crawford's greatness as destiny, not surprise. He sliced right through the noise, saying it exactly how he saw it. For Bill, this wasn't just a win, it was domination made to look effortless. He gave full credit not only to Crawford, but also to the brilliant minds in his corner, acknowledging the preparation that made the performance possible. His reaction carried both honesty and admiration, a true salute to boxing perfection. It was the kind of analysis that left zero room for argument. Bill Haney followed it up with a line that sealed his respect for Crawford's legacy. He deserves his place for sure. For sure, it was brief, but that simplicity made it hit harder. Sometimes the most powerful truths need no decoration, they speak for themselves. Bill's respect was genuine, a recognition from someone who knows exactly what greatness looks like. In that one moment he confirmed that this night would be remembered as a chapter of boxing history. And then Tim Bradley joined the conversation, bringing the sharp vision of a former champion, a man who's lived the same wars and felt the same fire. He broke it down perfectly. Crawford's brilliance wasn't just in his hands, it was in his mind. Strategy, timing, and anticipation turned the fight into a chessboard, where only one man knew the moves. Tim dissected every subtle shift, the angles, the footwork, the counters, the instinctive reads. That made Canelo look predictable. It was a masterclass in pure ring IQ, boxing at its most intelligent form. His words reminded everyone that Crawford didn't just fight, he outsmarted, outclassed, and outmaneuvered one of the sport's most dangerous tacticians. Then came Teddy Atlas, stepping in with his signature mix of emotion and precision. His take went beyond the usual breakdown. It reached into the core of what makes Crawford truly extraordinary. He turned the spotlight on the intangibles, the elements no judge can record on a scorecard. Teddy described Crawford as a fighter who sees the ring differently, almost like he's processing the fight in slow motion while others struggle to keep up. His breakdown proved that greatness isn't just built on power or speed. It's crafted through awareness, timing, and instinct that border on the supernatural. He framed Crawford as a generational talent, a man operating on a frequency few could ever reach. To Teddy, this wasn't simply a victory, it was living proof of brilliance that transcends the physical. And then Crawford spoke, calm yet full of conviction, the voice of a man who had just confirmed everything he's always believed about himself. He explained that belief isn't created under bright lights, it's forged in silence, long before the world starts watching. To him, this night wasn't about shock or luck. It was destiny aligning with preparation. His words reflected the quiet certainty of a man who trusted his grind completely. What many saw as a miracle, he saw as the outcome of years of focus and faith. Crawford didn't just win, he fulfilled his own prophecy. He revealed the exact moment he knew victory was his, saying that belief began the day he signed the contract. It wasn't arrogance, it was certainty. From that instant, he carried an unbreakable conviction that the outcome was already written. That mindset is what separates great fighters from immortal ones. His confidence wasn't built on talk, but on years of sweat, sacrifice, and proof. His answer was brief, but it said everything. This fight was over before the first bell ever rang. And then Canelo spoke, his tone heavy with honesty and respect, the voice of a champion who gave everything yet had to accept the better man won that night. He didn't search for excuses, he faced the truth head on. Canelo admitted that Crawford's rhythm, timing, and precision were puzzles he couldn't solve, no matter how hard he pressed forward. His words carried humility, the rare mark of a warrior who knows when he's been outclassed by greatness. This wasn't a loss drenched in shame. It was a lesson painted in respect. In that raw moment, even Canelo's honesty became part of Crawford's legend. But Canelo didn't stop there. He spoke again, not as a defeated man, but as a fighter, reminding the world that champions fall yet never break. His message wasn't about losing. It was about identity, the spirit that keeps rising no matter the outcome. He reminded the world that being a champion isn't defined by the belts you hold, but by the spirit you carry. Even in defeat, Canelo stood tall, proud, composed, and unbroken. There wasn't a hint of surrender in his eyes, only the promise to rise again. His resilience transformed that moment into something bigger than the fight itself, a reflection of the warrior's heart that made him a legend long before this night ever began. What a night of boxing history! Terence "Bud" Crawford walked into the ring undersized, but walked out as the man who conquered Canelo, etching his name among the greatest of this generation. From the opening bell to the final exchange, it was a masterclass in skill, patience, and intelligence, a reminder that true greatness isn't measured by weight, it's measured by will. So now we ask you, was this the greatest performance of Crawford's career? Is he the new pound-for-pound king of boxing? And if there's a rematch, who takes it? Drop your thoughts down below, we're reading every comment.